Good afternoon and welcome to the Imagine Golf podcast, brought to you by Imagine Golf, helping you get the game you've always imagined. You can go to imaginegolf.com and check out all of our free tools, including our ebooks, practice plans, lesson plans, and training aids. And you can sign up for our free golf tips that go out once a week, every week, by simply dropping us your email. And of course, you can book a lesson with me, Daniel Guest, by simply clicking on the Book Now button. All right, so we're going to talk about today a subject where I see every day when I go to work. We have 3 facilities in Imagine Golf, 3 driving ranges particularly, and I see a training aid every single day that I come to work. Right. So here we are. We're talking about training aids. Do they actually work? And I think you know what my answer is going to be if you looked at the headline, but or if you read some of our other blog posts or listened to some of our other podcasts. By and large, no. All right. So are there a few that do work? Absolutely. Are there a few great ones? Absolutely. But by and large, as an industry, as an example, no, these training aids do not work. And I would argue more times than not, they don't even have any chance of helping you with what you're trying to accomplish and are a total waste of money. So let me just give you my history with golf training aids. I've been going to the PGA Golf Show now for over 20 years. And every year that I've gone to, the only time I've ever missed it, it seems like, is I think I missed it one time for personal reasons, probably work-related back when I wasn't in the golf business. And I missed it during COVID. I did not feel like going down. Well, it was canceled the one year. Then the very next year, you had to wear a mask inside and outside. So I didn't feel like doing that. So but we're going back this year. But anyway, for 20 years, I've gone to the PGA Golf Show, and there inevitably are a few rows of gadgets, swing fixes, training aids. And over those 20 years, I can assure you that while it started with a small area of the convention center in Orlando, that small area where no one goes, and maybe an aisle, right? One aisle of training aids, and few of them were not even professionally set up, if you would, or poorly manned, and kind of like the barker, if you would, at a flea market, trying to get you to come over and try out the latest gadget. Fast forward to the 20 years to the last time I was there. There are now over 5 full rows of training aids, everything from a simple, gadget that you attach to your club to help your grip for like $9 to a full-blown robotic kind of boom. Imagine like a microphone boom that you've seen before in Hollywood, where it's a big giant piece of steel, if you would, that goes out, someone holds it, and then a microphone at the end, and they hold that over over the actor so the camera can't see it, but we can pick up noise. Imagine that kind of structure, if you would, or that piece of equipment with a vest that you get in, and then the vest then is controlled via a joystick by a golf instructor who's an expert in this thing, and they move your body around accordingly as it's supposed to move. I'm not like a marionette, like a puppet, right? And that thing is about $250,000. So, and everything in between. Right. So it's interesting. The industry itself, in preparing for this podcast, I was astounded, man. The industry itself, the golf instruction, or excuse me, not the golf instruction, but the golf training aid space is globally is over $8 billion. $8 billion. In the US, it's approaching $5 billion. So if the whole world is 8, and the U.S. is very close to 4.8 and change. What does that tell you about Americans? Right? We're always searching for that quick fix, if you would. And we'll spend, I don't know if we're going to spend $250,000. Well, someone's going to spend that, but you get the point. We'll spend money to take a shortcut, right? So let me point out a couple that I've seen in my 40 some years in golf that are just. And again, in preparing for this, just cracking me up. You probably remember a few of these. You probably remember the Medicus. Remember that? the golf club, I think it was a 7-iron for that matter. Almost all if the training aid includes a golf club, it's either a driver or a 7-iron. But it was a 7-iron with a hinge in it, right? And the hinge, was probably about 7 or 8 inches up from the face of the golf club. And when you swung the golf club, if you didn't have perfect tempo, the hinge would break and you couldn't actually hit a golf ball with it. But if you had perfect tempo, then you could, in fact, hit a golf ball with it. The challenge is that all anyone was worried about was trying to swing this golf club gingerly enough to hit a golf ball, and everything else in your golf swing suffered. So while it sold a ton of them in infomercials, it's garbage in my opinion. So and let's back up. By the way, that was the method of choice, if you would, to sell these things, right? The infomercial, right? If you're 40 years or older, you remember the infomercial, right? They were on, back in the day when there was only 3 channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS. They were on the UHF channels primarily. You'd see them on Sundays. You see them on late night. You see them on weekends, or again on late night TV with a 15-minute or 30-minute commercial, making all kinds of audacious claims and promises. And by the way, there is no governing body to the golf training aid industry, if you would. So you can make almost any claim without fear of being sued. And that alone should tell you enough about it, right? I would also say, in my professional opinion, my personal and professional opinion, that if you see any golf training aid online, right, making audacious claims, or an infomercial, and probably more importantly, an infomercial, run, right? Run. Because it's not worth it. It's not going to be worth it. They spend a ton of money marketing and for a reason, right? Because the product really isn't worth it. So they got to market the heck out of it. And they know they have a limited run before it kind of times itself out, if you would, in the marketplace. So some other ones that came to mind, the Alien Wedge, the Alien Sand Wedge. Again, if you're 40 years or older, you've seen the Alien Wedge. It was a round, probably, I think it was 57, 58 degree wedge that had some markings on the bottom of it that looked like a golf ball, if you would, hexagon markings that looked like a golf ball on it. And its claim to fame was, as any of these wedges, it's easier to hit and get out of almost anything. They sold millions of them, right? It actually wasn't a horrible product, but it's no better than any other wedge on the market. How about the stand-up putter? I've played a couple rounds, man, over my lifetime, and you get paired up with someone you never met. You're strolling in, you're on vacation or whatever, and they pair you up, and the guy busts out a stand-up putter, man. It just cracks me. I do everything I can just not to start busting up laughing in front of him. But the stand-up putter, the putter that actually you could put it behind the golf ball. That was its whole claim to fame. You put it behind the golf ball. And aim it appropriately, then stand behind it and make sure the putter is in fact lined up with the line. Then you move your body behind it and take the shot. Just crazy, man. How about the swing vest? All right. I think you don't have to be 40 to see this one. I see this one even to this day, the swing vest. I've seen so many iterations of it. I've seen the one that you got to actually have someone help you get it on. I've seen the one that looks almost like a straitjacket. I'm not kidding. Almost the same material, for crying out loud, as a straight canvas style material, if you would. Now they have the stretchy versions that you put on that supposedly keep your arms and keep the V, if you would, together through the 10 stages of a golf swing. But I see this on someone and they're trying to move with it on, and they can't even move, much less hit a golf ball. It's keeping your arms straight. Yeah, for sure. You can't turn like you're supposed to, but you can keep your arms straight. What are some other ones? What else? The Medicus I talked about, the swing vest. Anything that you put down that you have to hit through, right? You're gonna hit through this. There's one that has like 4 foam pieces that are on each corner of it, and you adjust those foam pieces. If you swing over the top, you adjust them another way. If you swing too far from the inside, if you would, just garbage, just absolute garbage. So Let me explain to you why, on average, the majority of these don't work. It's not because they're poorly designed or anything like that. It's because your mind is a crazy thing when it comes to golf, right? The average golfer has less than a second. The average golf swing takes less than a second to complete. And your mind is making millions of calculations as you go through that 1 second or that 1 second, if you would. So when you embody or put on or utilize a swing trainer, right, it may in fact work or help you with the challenge that you have. So if you have this wrist gadget on and it's trying to put your wrist in the right spot, if you would, it may in fact do that. The problem is, though, it doesn't solve the underlying reason as to why the swing is not working. So it may not be, in fact, that your wrist isn't turning appropriately. It may be, in fact, that you're not putting your body in the right position, as an example, to get the wrist to do what it needs to do at impact. So even though you fix the wrist piece, if you would, if you didn't fix the underlying swing fault, it doesn't matter. And the second you take literally the second you take off the swing trainer, you go right back to what you normally do. Your mind brings you right back to what you know. All right. And there's the rub. There lies the problem. So again, it's not that they're all garbage by design. The fact is that they just don't work in the complicated golf swing, if you would. The term, if you would, or the reason that it doesn't work, the technical term is called proprioception. I can't even say that. Proprioception. All right. It's kind of your mind's sixth sense. And I just explained what it is, but essentially your mind knows that you have a said swing trainer on, right? So the swing trainer will help you, and then it won't. And it'll help you until it won't. So wouldn't it be better to find something that changes the body or gets to the underlying cause of the swing challenge that you may have and makes a permanent or a long-lasting change, right? And what I mean by that is a biomechanical change. So in that same example, that wrist example, instead of working on the wrist, why don't we work on positioning the body? So get a swing trainer as an example that's going to force the body to move better, more golf appropriate. And there are a handful, and believe me when I tell you, there's probably only a handful of decent swing trainers or swing devices out there that will help you with your golf game. I'm going to roll through a couple of them, and then we'll wrap up today. By the way, here at Imagine Golf, we only endorse about 5 or 6 training aids, and that's it. We try them all. I've tried every single solitary one of them. And I have a whole garage full of them. People have donated them. That's the funniest thing. People will buy one, they'll try it, and then they donate it when they come and take a lesson. I've even rolled up onto people and said, hey, for the price of that, I'll give you a free lesson. And, if our lesson is better at fixing your challenges than that, you'll commit to taking more lessons. And I've never had anyone take me up on that offer and then not come back for more lessons. So anyway, let's talk about some positive ones that we endorse, if you would. The first one is the Orange Whip. If you're not familiar with the Orange Whip, it's a simple swing trainer. It's a fiber. I think it's a fiberglass base, if you would, or the shaft itself is made of fiberglass. It's flexible anyway, with a ball on the end, an orange ball. The Orange Whip was the original. The patent, I think, is run out now. There's a ton of fakes, if you would, but there are other swing trainers that are almost as good as the Orange Whip. The Skills version of it comes to mind, SKILZ. But it simply forces the individual. There's probably 20 different exercises, but its main claim to fame is it forces the individual to turn back, make a proper backswing on plane, and swing through, getting your weight transferred and getting your body facing the target. So it's great for tempo. It's great for a million different things in the golf swing, and we highly recommend it. So the lag shot trainer is a close second to that. This is a similar technology. It's a rubbery shaft, if you would, with a heavier 7-iron head at the bottom of it, and it simply forces you to load up properly. If you do not load up properly in your backswing, because the shaft bends, the club face will be open almost every time at impact. And for that reason, or by the way, or if your tempo is off. But if either one of those is happening, then the ball then for a right-handed golfer goes to the right. So it's a great tool for the load mechanics or the weight transfer mechanics, as well as tempo, and we recommend that as well. Any type of alignment sticks. I make the joke all the time with my students. We have $39 alignment sticks here, and we have 99 cents Home Depot snow marker, driveway marker sticks. And I have to tell you, they're almost identical, right? The golf ones have some fancier paint on them or nice markings or whatever. And the driveway markers are, some fluorescent color, green, blue, or the familiar orange or even yellow. But either way, any type of alignment stick can be used a multitude of different ways, and something we highly recommend and use on a daily basis here at Imagine Golf. We're big fans of grip trainers. If you can find a club with a permanent grip trainer, we are not fans of these portable grip trainers or snap-on grip trainers, but we're definitely fans of the traditional grip trainer that's been around for 25 plus years. We like it on heavier clubs, as an example. So they make heavy sticks or they make heavier clubs, but we're big fans of the grip trainers, especially for newbies, those new to golf, because if you can feel it, if you can feel what a proper grip is supposed to feel like, you can replicate it on the golf club. And I got to tell you, there, out of the 30,000 almost lessons that I've done, thousands and thousands of them start with an improper grip. So we're big fans of grip trainers. Speed sticks are excellent. I got to tell you, I was not a believer. I poo-pooed them without really even trying them. I just did not think that they were for real. Happened to be at the PGA show, happened to have some extra time, rolled by the booth, gave them a shot, and then actually came back and did a 6-week training with the original, I should say, Speed Stick, it's called, and had positive results. I added like 7-8 miles an hour to my swing speed. So big believer in that. There's a couple different ones we like. We like the Rip Stick right now. It's probably the most popular. But if you follow the protocol and do them as they're supposed to be done, then they absolutely do work. The last two, impact ball, the age-old impact ball. It looks like a square medicine ball almost, right? It's usually filled with some type of sand or rags or whatever. It's a heavier ball that you put around in front of you or even on the side of you, and you swing into it. And it gives you a feeling of shows you and gives you a feeling of where the impact of your club face is. And then we move the ball appropriately to show you where it needs to be. So it's inexpensive. You can get one for as little as like $30, and just a really, really good tool for all levels. I've been using one for probably 40 years now. And then the last one we endorse is that age-old impact tape. I like impact tape better than the Dr. Scholl's method, where you actually spray powdered foot spray on a golf club and see where the ball is impacting, if you would, on the club face. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the magic marker, dry erase magic marker on the golf ball, and then put a little dot on it and face that towards the club and then hit it. You'll see the magic marker will transfer onto the club face. That works well as well. But we're big fans of the impact tape, right? They come in anything from 5, 10, up to 100 different pieces, if you would, and it's simply a peel and stick piece of tape that you put on the face of a golf club. They make them for all different golf clubs, irons, hybrids, and drivers, and it shows you immediately the impact where it is. So I'm a big fan of the impact tape. To me, it's a better experience than spraying on the foot spray, if you would. So there you have it. In closing, or in summary, do these things work? By and large, no. We have 4,000 plus students here at Imagine Golf, and every one of them knows that, hey, look, before you buy anything to fix your swing, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, fix your swing, shoot me a quick text, an email, or ask us about it. Because we're totally agnostic when it comes to them. We don't make any money on any of the ones that I've told you we endorsed. So there's nothing in it for us. We'll tell you good, bad, or indifferent. But before you waste your money, and by the way, some of these things can be expensive, all right? But before you waste even just $10 on anything and risk doing probably more harm to your swing than good, give us a shout about them. But by and large, they do not work. Do your own research. I think you'll find it's most consistent. Most of it anyway is consistent with my opinion here today. If you want to get better at golf, you've got to solve the underlying issue. There is no quick fix. If there was, I'd have it. But there is no quick fix. And when you say it out loud, there is not one thing that's going to fix your ills by simply strapping it on or clicking it onto your club or anything, right? I assure you, professional golfers do not and have not and probably have never used the majority, if not any of these that we've mentioned today, with the exception of some of the positive ones. So that's all I have today. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate the support. We're up. We're just about to crack the top 100 in golf-related podcasts. So that's a big milestone for us, and it doesn't happen without you listeners listening to it. So I appreciate that. Please hit the follow button below, and you can reach us at imaginegolf.com, and you can reach me directly at daniel@imaginegolf.com. Have a great day.